everyone, welcome back to Kirsty Colour and Sketch. Today, as promised, I'm going to do this little bunny rabbit on camera. So I thought I'd show you how I do fur. Now it's a bit different for me today because usually when I'm doing my pet portraits and things, I do use soft pastels, pan pastels and then pencil over the top. But today, as it's such a little small cute bunny rabbit, I'm going to do it all in pencil. So I printed off a reference picture and this is the sort of colour that I want to go for. I think this is super duper cute. So I like to print a reference picture off and then I like to go through my swatch book and pick out pencils, and I like to put them down at the side of the reference just to match, sort of colour match. So I have picked out some colours. I'm not sure in which order or which way I'm going to use them. Even if I'm going to use all of them yet, I might just pick out some of them. But they are mostly polychromos pencils. And that is because polychromos pencils hold a good point. And when you do get to doing the hair strokes, you really want a fine point on your pencil. However, I did pick out one coloursoft pencil because I felt like it was the perfect shade. So if I bring you up a little bit, you can see that this sort of colour here is like the terracotta, and then right on the ends of the little fluffy bit of fur, it goes into this lighter colour. Now I don't feel like the ivory is going to stand out as much here, so I was going to blend some of this light sand into the edges here where it gets a bit lighter, and hopefully that'll look nice all blended together. But we'll see, but we'll get going. So the illustration is from Grazia Salvo. It is from the book Lady Spring. You can get this on her Etsy store, so I will link it in the description of this video. If you'd like to see my little colouring chat, no, it was a skin tutorial that I did. That is up on the channel. I'll also link that down below. But let's get going on this little bunny for now. So I am going to get us zoomed right in. I'm going to centralise us. Hopefully. Is that zoomed in enough, or do you think we can go a bit? What do you think? Is that okay? Too much, too little? And then we can't really get this in frame, but I will show you it as I'm going along. There we go. So first off, I am going to base this bunny. So I am looking at a lighter shade to base him in, because we're not going to do the hair strokes until we've got a base layer down first. So looking at it, I'm either going to base it in some beige red. Now you might think that's a bit unusual, but if you think what's underneath an animal's fur, it's pink flesh. So you're going to have that sort of undertone, and you can actually, if you look at it carefully, you can actually see sort of a pinky undertone. I don't know if that's just me, but I'm definitely going to go with a beige red underneath first. So the beige red is the polychromos pencil and it is 132. So a really light layering, you're going to go everywhere with it. Really light layer just everywhere. We're not doing hair strokes at the moment, we're just putting this down everywhere as a base, apart from the eyes. Don't put it on the eyes. Hopefully this is going to turn out nice, because like I say, I normally use soft pastels, pan pastels before adding pencils, so this is different for me. This might pave the way into me attempting some pet portraits just all coloured pencil. Who knows? But there we go. So we've got that beige red down. So he's a little pink bunny at the moment. He doesn't look like the reference at the minute. So next up, I'm going to go with some of the darker colours I can see, or these sort of overtones. So right down here where we've got this shadow, on my reference picture it almost looks a bit grey right at the bottom. So I thought I would add a bit of grey in, and this is the warm grey 272. And I'm literally just going to use a light to medium pressure, and I'm just going to go over that little bit of grayscale there. So medium pressure at the bottom and then going up into a light, bringing it up into a light pressure so that it can be blended in with other colours that we're going to use. But I think that's it for the grey. Don't think I'm going to put any more grey down. So next up, I'm going to pick out the sort of areas that I can see that has some darker colours, like this colour right here at the sides of the nose. I picked out as being mostly looking like a burnt sienna. So I'm going to try and put a bit of that in. There's a little bit up here and here you can see, and maybe a bit of shadowing under the paws if we can see his paws, but not really, a little bit. So I'm just going to do that. So it's right near these where the whiskers are coming out, that's where the depth is. So again, I'm not going in harshly yet. If I need to make it bolder at the end after we've put all the fur in, then I will, but right now I'm just sort of mapping out where the darker areas are going to be, and then we'll be going over the top. So you can't see both sides of the face on my reference picture, but I'm assuming that it's dark on both sides around the whisker area. It's got these little bits. Does look very strange at the start. I always say that there's an ugly stage. There definitely is an ugly stage. So the darker bits I'm going to put at the side of the eye here. So we're still not doing hair strokes, we're just mapping out these are the base layers. So there's going to be some darkness there. And a little bit here. You can almost see where the grayscale areas are, is where we're putting a bit of this colour down. And then I'm going to pop a little bit under its little chin area. Just on the edges though, I'm not going to go into the centre. Just working on the ends. Making sure you're blending it out into nothingness, or trying your best as you get into this area. Barely touch the paper just so it's blended in really nicely. Then we're going to go for under the paws now, so just on the edges of the paws. Going to pop a bit of this. And just a little touch under there, under his little leg. And I think that's where I want to be with that shade. So I think I'm going to leave it at that for now. So next up I'm going to go in with the Terracotta. So the Terracotta 186. And I'm going to pick out some areas that are going to be slightly darker now. So I'm going to start on the paws actually. And again for now I'm just putting a light layer. Light layer everywhere. Going over where we've just been with the colours, because we are going to darken this up in some places as well. So we put a light layer down first, and then when we're going with the hair strokes, we're gonna, you know, add more depth, press on harder. I thought this colour bunny rabbit would look really nice with the lady's hair colour that I did. I actually used the all coloursofts on her hair. So I'm just going around the outside of the ear, but I'm leaving the middle. We don't want to go into the middle with this terracotta, because the middle is gonna be almost like a pinky shade. And again, the little nose area, leave a little bit out because we're going to have pink around there as well. So we don't want to go over it with this colour. Oh, such a cute little bunny. So cute. Oh. Right, now I'm going to start doing the hair strokes now. So I'm going to start off doing the darker areas. So let me just get my reference picture back in. So you can see I've picked out two main colours for the actual colour of the fur. So it's the burnt ochre and the terracotta. I'm going to go in with the burnt ochre now, and I'm going to do the hair strokes, picking out these darker patches with this burnt ochre first. So just looking around, seeing which bits are darker, and following the direction of the hair strokes that the illustrators put in as well. I know we've got a reference, but you don't want to be following these directions when the illustrators draw them in a different direction. So you do need to follow the grayscale here. So I am just going to pop in the darkness now. So I'm going to start here at the end, and I'm going to follow those lines. I'm going to follow the lines. So it is just little flicking motions, but trying to keep to the right direction that the fur would naturally go. Which, if you saw my Black Panther page in my finished pages video, you'll have heard me saying I did the wrong direction on the fur on the face on that one. So it's easy to lose track and just get carried away. So I am just going to leave this dark patch to this area now. So I'm building up towards the centre, but only in this sort of circular area. Any lines you feel are too harsh are going to be softened up with lighter colours. So don't worry if you think, oh, that looks a bit bold or anything like that, because we will soften it all up. So that's that little patch there. I'm going to do a little patch up here. So the ear strokes are sort of coming down in a similar way up here. Just try and soften the ends of this one a little bit. That's it. Now I'm going to put a bit of shadowing under here, so sort of under his little big chubby cheek there. And you can see the direction of the hair strokes coming straight down with just a slight curve. So I've brought this one down further, but as I'm going under the rest of the chin, I am going to stop where the grayscale stops. So my lines are going to be shorter, as you can see. So I'm just going to take a step back and look at my reference picture again, just to check. So I'm going to put a little bit on the paws. I'm just softening the ends of this, so if you use a very light pressure and just soften like that. So I'm going to move on to his face now and pick out the dark patches on his face. So I'm pretty much going to go over the areas that we went with this burnt sienna. So we're sort of going over the top of those areas. I'm going to use smaller strokes on the face. Because the face isn't quite as fluffy as the body. So if you use smaller strokes, you won't get this, you know, big fluff. I don't know if I'm explaining that very well. I know what I mean. Almost looks like it's got little eyelashes when I flick that way, like that. So softening up the edges there a little bit. I am going to bring some darkness down from this, underneath this flower, because it almost looks like it would be dark under there because of the shadow. And then I'm going to bring the darkness just round here, so over the top of the burnt sienna that we went on. Going to bring it up there. Following these hair strokes round. Fur is pretty much about layering. You're just layering all the hair strokes over and over, and bringing new colours in towards the end as well. I like putting the darker colours down first, and then you can get your light colours on over the top. So the Holbein white, the Holbein soft white is really good for getting your whites in. So just over onto this side, it's really tiny over here. I apologise if my hand's in the way. really tiny, but we're just going to come over here and over the whiskers, over that burnt sienna. I'm just going to pop a little bit under his mouth and then over these whiskers. Not forgetting the little bit in the centre, so this little grayscale bit that you can see, just flick this colour in the same direction that that's going. So I've almost got like this little cute little pattern on his fur. So that's where I want to be with that at the minute. I'm just going to get my pencil a little sharpened and then we're going to move on to the ears. So the ears are quite dark as well. So I'm going to do a sort of really small flicking motion. Not forgetting that bit down there, I almost forgot. And then over to this side. Now just before I get some hair strokes into the centre of the ear, I'm gonna put the colour down that I want in the centre of the ear. So that's the cinnamon 189, and I'm gonna put a light layer first and then I'm gonna build it up. So just put your light layer down, dust it off, and then starting from the top bit here, because I can see that the grayscale's darker there, I'm gonna go in with a harder pressure there. Like that. And then the same with the other. So light pressure to start with. And then picking out where you can see the darkest areas with a harder pressure. There we go. I'm also going to use this cinnamon colour around the nose. So I'm going to start with a light layer. Look at that little cute bunny. And then I'm going to deepen it up a little bit on the edge. Oh, look. So I'm going to go back in with the burnt ochre 187, just so I can make some little flick lines go into the centre of the ear. Might not be able to see them very well, but close up you can see that they're there. Just a bit of fluff. Oh, look, he's so cute. So now I'm going to go in with the Terracotta 186. And I'm going to start where I've just been with the burnt ochre, but I'm going to bring it down. So I'm going to start around here and I'm going to bring this colour all the way down. So I'll start in the corner actually. So this is a sort of lighter shade of what we've just been putting down, so you're going to really get a bit of brightness poking through with this colour. Not forgetting to follow the strokes, the direction of the hair strokes. You can go with longer strokes on the body because the fur would be longer, so you can go with your longer strokes down here, and then keep your strokes shorter on the paws and the face. So the little paws now, I'm going to do little short hairs. I will be bringing some of that light sand in shortly as well, that light sand colour. I'm going to try and work out which direction this bit would be. I think it would be almost curving that way, and then this can meet nicely, the hair strokes can meet together nicely there. So I'm just going to sharpen my pencil a little bit before we move on to the face. So again with the face, I'm just going to go over where we've just been and then bring it into the areas where we've still got white space. If you want to bring some hair strokes out and sort of fluff him out a bit, you can. I hope my hand's not in the way here, I really do. I will do the eyes on camera as well, they're teeny tiny, those eyes. Really tiny. Bring that colour down there towards the nose. Keeping it a bit darker. There we go. So now I'm going to bring in some of that light sand, and this is the polychromos pencil. So this is the C580 light sand, coloursoft. So I'm just gonna smoosh it all together with this. So I am going to use it to sort of bring it all together, and it will soften down some of those lines as well. These pencils are good for smooshing. They're very soft, the Derwent coloursoft pencils. So moving on to his face. And a bit on the ears. So that's sort of blended everything together and really softened some of those harsher lines. Then if you do want to put a few more flicks of the darker shade in, I do like to do that sometimes. So going back in with the burnt ochre, I'm just going to pick out a few darker lines to just put back in. You'll barely see, but it's just allowed me to blend it all together, that light sand. I've gone quiet, this is my concentration face, guys. A few around there. Now I think I'm going to get a few white hair strokes in there now. So hopefully this pencil will do the job. This is the polychromos pencil, white 101. I'm just going to pick out under the chin for a bit of white fluff. I'm going to randomly put a few here. I can see this, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but it's really delicate lines. You might have seen that one there. Pick up on camera. I'm gonna put in his whiskers now. So I don't know whether to do these with black, or sometimes black can go down too harshly. I'm thinking of maybe using this burnt sienna for the whiskers. So let's get a really sharp point. You want a really sharp point on. And let's try and just go over the whiskers a little bit, see if you find it where they are. I'm not using a hard pressure. I'm just very lightly going over where they are. So you're barely seeing anything. I'll soften that in a minute. That's a bit too harsh for my liking. But if you do put something down and you feel like, I feel like that's a bit harsh, you can go in with a white pencil or an ivory pencil and just smoosh it in a bit at the edges. So what I'm going to do is eyes now. So I'm going to put in the outline of the eye with the black 199. Oh, it's so cute. So cute. These bunny rabbits do have almost like, it looks like a full black eye. So I am going to do that, and then I'm going to draw in some highlights after. So it's almost like that. We'll just leave that little highlight in there. But yeah, it's pretty much like that. And then I'm going to add a tiny touch around the nose. And there we go. I'm going to use a bit of gel pen. I'm going to get a 0.6 gel pen. I'm just going to check it's working. And I am on the ears. I'm just going to put in a few little highlights with the white gel pen on the ears. So just a few flicks here and there, and on this one as well. If you want to do that, if the white pencil hasn't shown up as much as you want, you can just put in a few with a white gel pen. Make sure it's a really fine one though. This is the 0.6. You don't want to be using a 1mm or something. You're not going to get the fine lines that you want. That's a bit much. Let me get rid of that. Try again. Why is it not going down lightly? I just want a light layer. Might smoosh it in. Let's smoosh it in with a pencil and go. Just a little bit. I don't want it to be too prominent. But yeah, putting a few around here. If you hold your gel pen and use it sideways rather than directly on, you're going to get it lighter. I'm going to smoosh this side in a little bit with my pencil. Just off there a little bit. And I'm going to give him a little highlight in his eyes now. So I am going to make this one more prominent up there. I don't like that one, he looks angry. Why does he look angry with that highlight? There we go. That'll do. And I think that's my best go at that. So that was quite different using the coloured pencils rather than pastels as well. It was a bit trickier for me. But let's zoom out and have a little look at him. And there we go, and that is the page complete because I've coloured everything else on here now. So I am going to enter this page in for Shannon's hashtag for the month as well. So if you want to join in with that, it's Colour Any Grazia Salvo page, and the hashtag over on Instagram is hashtag Salvo September, I believe. I'll double check and I'll pop it up here, but I think it is Salvo September. So if you want to join in with that, head over onto Instagram and check that out. It's Shannon's hashtag. So there it is. There he is. Look how cute. Hello. We should give her a name. It has to be a girl, doesn't it, Luke? We have to give her a name. But yeah, let's zoom out all the way, then you can see the full page. So I need to pick out a page for a full colour along for my next video. So if you've got any suggestions, anything you would like to see as a full colour along up on the channel, comment down below and I'll see what I can do. The kids are all back at school now, so I've got quiet time just for me. Woohoo! So yeah, I've got a bit more time on my hands. So please do hit the thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when my videos pop up. Thanks for watching, everyone.